Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to talk about the present perfect. The tense that generates more confusion than the K letter in knife. Melancholic tense that is in the present but lives in the past. But before we move on, click on the subscribe button so we can continue learning English together. Ready? The most important thing to know is that the present perfect, it is used to indicate a link between the present and the past. And the time of the action, it is before now. But we don't care when the action happened. So when do we use it? We use the present perfect to describe actions and situations that started in the past and continue in the present. For example, they have lived here for ages and they still do. They are still living in the same house. Have you played the piano since you were a child? So you started playing the piano when you were a child and you continue doing so. That's why I'm asking with the present perfect. We also use it to describe an action performed during a period that has not finished yet. For example, I have worked very hard this week. And the week isn't over yet. It has rained a lot this year, and the year isn't over yet. We use the present perfect to describe actions that are repeated in an unspecified period of time during the past and now. For example, we have eaten at that restaurant several times. But you don't know when exactly. She has seen that film 6 times already. We know that she has watched the film 6 times, but we don't know when she did it. We also use it to describe actions that were completed in the very recent past. And this is generally expressed by the word just. He has just left. I have just finished my homework. And finally, we use the present perfect to describe an action when the time is not important or is not known. For example, someone has eaten my sandwich. It doesn't matter when it happened, but the action itself does. Someone has eaten my sandwich and I will hand you down for it. So, how do we form sentences using the present perfect tense? Simple. You need 2 elements. First, the correct form of the auxiliary verb to have in the present, plus the past participle of the main verb. Then here you have the popular regular verbs like visit, play, and look, that you just need to add the ed at the end to get the past participle form. And then you have the not so popular irregular verbs like buy, come, and eat that you need to learn by heart. Sorry. So we said the correct form of the auxiliary verb to have in the present. This means that if you have the pronouns I, you, we, and they, we are going to use have. But if I have the pronouns he, she, and it, we're going to use has. Then in an affirmative sentence, we will have the following structure. Subject plus auxiliary verb to have in the correct form and the main verb in the past participle. For example, she has visited London. They have visited London. To form a negative sentence, we need to add not to the auxiliary verb. For example, she has not visited London. They have not visited London. We can also use the contraction form. She hasn't visited London. They haven't visited London. And for an interrogative sentence, we just need to swap the order between the subject and the auxiliary verb. So the auxiliary verb will come first and the subject will follow. For example, has she visited London? Have they visited London? Check in the three sentences there is always the auxiliary verb to have in the correct form and the main verb in the past participle form. This never changes. And that's all for today's video. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. And don't forget that you can also follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And I will see you next week. Bye!